Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to 1066 Reptile Rescue TV Duty Calls. In this series, we'll be looking at royal pythons, also known as ball pythons. We'll be looking at the different types of morphs, where their habitats are from, what kind of equipment do you need to look after one, and all the other accessories, and how to do a health check on a royal python. So, before we get to that, I'm going to leave you one short thing. I'm going to leave you a question. What is the royal python, or shall I say ball python's main threat in the wild? Comment below and we'll see you in a sec. So, where do royal pythons originate from? Royal pythons originate from Western, Eastern and Central Africa. Their main habitats are open woodland, shrub forests and grassland. Royal pythons also have a lifespan of 20 to 30 years in captivity. However, it isn't uncommon for royal pythons to live up to 40 years. So going back to the threats of ball pythons, the number one threat to ball pythons are humans. That is simply because we hunt ball pythons. This is either for their meat or for their skin. Their skin is then sold on to companies to make fashion accessories such as jewellery and handbags. So time for an interesting fact. Did you know snakes usually have one thin lung? However, pythons have two lungs, one of which is a lot smaller than the other one. Also, did you know all pythons are non-venomous? They are constrictors. They do this by latching onto the prey and concealing their body around its prey. The colour and pattern may also present many genetic variations. These are called morphs. There are over 1,000 different types of royal pythons in the world. So some examples of the morphs are albino, spider, lesser, and things like that. That's just to name a few morphs. These are obtained through selective breeding. This can be for the exotic pet industry. Also, it is done by people that have a passion for reptiles and have an interest in breeding. Now, I have one fact for you guys. Did you know snakes do not have eyelids to protect their eyes? So with handling, at 1066 Reptile Rescue, we do a lot of educational shows. This could be to educate the old and new generation about reptile care. However, we do have to take in the reptile's personality and if they want to be handled at the time. With royal pythons, they're usually okay with being handled 3 to 5 times a week. This is advisable sometimes. However, in some cases, if you handle your royal python too many times within that week, sometimes they can go off their food, especially if they're not used to being handled for a long period of time. It could start to stress them out, which can cause problems later on in life. With housing your royal python, there are so many ways that you can house them, but it is advisable to house royal pythons on their own. However, so many people have different ways of housing their royal python. Some people like to keep them in clutches of three. Some people like to house them together in a nice big viv. You can do this, but you need to keep an eye on your royal python to see if any of them are getting stressed out or if they are fighting. If they are fighting, then you need to be able to remove them. So going on to what is needed in your vivarium for a royal python. Now it's important that you have a thermostat. A thermostat is to control the temperature in the viv. Because if you do not have a thermostat for that viv, the temperature can get too hot and then your royal python can then get dehydrated, or it'll get too hot, it will go off its food. With the bowl that gets to a certain heat, it gets really hot. To protect your royal python from getting burnt is an essential thing that you have what we call a bulb guard. This is like a square cage, or you can get different types of shapes and sizes. It is like a cage that goes over to the bowl, which then protects your snake from getting burnt directly on the bowl. We also say that you have some hides in there, so your snake has somewhere to go if it doesn't want to be in the heat all the time. With substrate, there are so many types of substrate on the market that people go for. However, some people go for the cheap alternative and use a newspaper, which is perfectly fine. However, at 10 to 6 Reptile Rescue, we try to keep things close to their actual habitat, so we use bark. But bark is a good thing to use as it also keeps the humidity at a right level. It's also essential that you provide your snake with a water bowl with nice, clean, fresh water. This will help your royal python with shedding the skin, and also will be able to drink. Sometimes it's also useful to give your royal python something to climb onto so it has something to do. Okay, I am now going to talk to you about some health problems that your royal python may face in the future, but I really hope it doesn't face any of these problems. The first problem I'm going to talk to you about is blister disease. This mostly occurs in damp, dirty conditions that your royal python lives in. What can happen is just the scales of the royal python will become swollen and infected by bacteria and fungi. The treatment for this will be to go and see the vet, which then they will use topical injection antibiotics to help your royal python get over the blister disease. The next disease I want to talk to you guys about is mouth rot. Mouth rot is a bacterial infection involving the oral lining of your royal python's mouth. You'll be able to tell if your royal python has mouth rot as there will be tiny pinpoint areas of blood. Also, some of the teeth may start to get infected and teeth will start to fall out. The initial treatment, which will be involving the vet, will be involving injections of vitamins A, C and B complex. Assessment as an antibiotic is also required. Also, cleaning of the mouth twice daily will also help your royal python get over the effects of mouth rot. Okay guys, and the final and last disease that I would like to talk to you about is the most common disease in the whole snake family. Any of your snakes can catch it, and it is quite simple to treat too. The disease I want to talk to you about is an RI, also known as a respiratory infection. This can be caused by stress or poor housing due to humidity levels or other key factors. The key signs to know if your royal python has a respiratory infection is to ask yourself, is there any discharge or any bubbles coming from its nose? Is your royal python coughing? Is your royal python struggling to breathe and breathing with its mouth open? That's what you need to ask yourself. If it is doing that, you should take your snake to the vet to get it seen. They will recommend that they will run some blood tests, which is normal in the state. Also, they will start treatment, which is antibiotic therapy, which can be either given so many ways. There are ways of giving it inhaled. We can also give it to an inhaling therapy, which is a difference between putting it in a box and using a humidifier, or what we call a fogger, to put the air in. So it's giving it a foggy mist with the antibiotic in the fog. So it's getting its medication that way. The other way, by antibiotic therapy, is giving it injections. You don't need to give the injections, as it needs to be done by someone qualified, like your local reptile vet. Okay guys, I am now going to talk you through how to do a health check on your ball python. It is clearly important that you know your reptiles or your ball python before considering doing a health check. This could be simply because when doing a health check, it can stress your reptile out. So there are many key factors when looking for a health check. So here we go. I'm going to talk you through stage by stage how to do a health check. Okay, so this is how to conduct a health check on your royal python. Firstly, you should listen to the breathing. You need to listen for any signs of wheezing or whistling coming from your royal python's nose or mouth. You should listen for the recommended 5 to 10 seconds in a quiet space. If there is a whistling or wheezing noise, this could be a sign of an RRI. Also talking from earlier, a respiratory infection. You then need to check the skin for any stuck shed or scale damage. Make sure you check the whole body for this. Also, you are looking for any folded or wrinkly skin. If there is any folded or wrinkly skin, this could be a sign that your royal python is dehydrated. You also need to check the vent and make sure they're nice and clean, making sure there are no feces stuck to the ventricle area. You need to make sure that your royal python's eyes are nice crystal clear and there's no stuck eye caps. Also, check your royal python for mites. These can be easily found under the mouth or under the belly of your royal python. Specialists or people that know what they're doing should only check this, what I'm about to say next. You should also check the mouth, just in case there is any mouth rot. You need to make sure that the mouth is a nice healthy pink and no excess mucus, as that could be a sign of mouth rot. But make sure when you're checking your snake's mouth that it is done by a specialist or a reptile expert that knows what they're doing. Or if you do feel comfortable about it, try and do it at your vet or ask your vet to show you how the correct way is. As if you do it the wrong way, you could damage your royal python's teeth or jaw. Okay guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you found this information useful. I hope you can join us next week where we'll be looking at boa constrictors. So thank you for watching. Please leave a comment if you'd like to see anything. Please like the video and feel free to subscribe. Thank you guys, and thank you for watching. Join in for next week when we'll see the boa constrictors.